When a fan's heart is full of hate, he butters, cries, and a dark shadow falls over this troll. From the ashes of a once great fandom has risen a meme, an LOL that must be liked. We look to the airwaves for a vindicator, someone to strike fear in the dark basement of the parents who created him. The battle between fan and smart has begun. With a head on his shoulders stands the smart fan, a speaker of truths, with a voice of silence, and a radio show of justice. This is Ring Rust.
But I'm not talking about that just yet, so much like the main bad guy from Pit Fighter, I'm going to say, just wait. So first off, I'm doing the WWE Live from Madison Square Garden show from, I'll give you three guesses, the one that was hyped as part of Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour, and Brock Lesnar was not in the main event. So, Radio Shrug, I don't know what to say, so, but whatever. Not really complaining, I guess. So, there were, how many did I have? There were 6 matches that they had advertised, and now there's 9 matches that happened, and 2 of the 6 matches that they predicted were going to be going on became 1 tag team match. So that means effectively 5 matches that they said were happening are included in these 9 matches. So, I guess I'll just take them 3 at a time, and then just see how the first half hour of the show goes. And anyway, so Zack Ryder defeated Bo Dallas in a match that I'm guessing nobody really cared too much about. I mean, Bo Dallas is a good character. He's a little bit more arrogant or annoying or whatever than his character in NXT. His character in NXT was actually just about perfect, but he said, nah, let's tweak it. And yeah. So they tweaked it, and now not as many people like him in WWE as they liked him when he was in NXT, and there are more people watching WWE, so that's kind of an impressive downslope, I think. Zack Ryder, I still like him. Hashtag Zack Ryder is over was something from 5 or 6 years ago. So anyway, secondly, this was a dark match, of course, and another dark match they had saw Mark Henry defeating Brad Maddox. Remember that guy? Yeah, I don't really remember him that much either. But, you know, there he is. He's back, apparently. And the first match proper from the WWE Live at Madison Square Garden is the aforementioned tag team match that they formed from 2 singles matches. So they had Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler combining to defeat Sheamus and Rusev. So I don't know why because they had like 2 or 3 other matches they wanted to add or something. So I don't know. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbonology TV. Because you never know. Never say never in the world of music, I guess. Because who knows? Maybe if enough sweaty music nerds band together, they'll say, hey, let's get Gearbox back together. And then the members of Gearbox say, no. And then the sweaty, nerdy music people say, oh, okay, then we'll just be over here eating candy bars. This is Fabio Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust. Oh, not a remote vibe, CHMR-FM. So, since, like I said, they changed the card around somewhat, and they added some matches, and they made 2 singles matches into a tag team match, I don't really know how to call my predictions, because I predicted that Sheamus would be Randy Orton, and I predicted that Rusev would defeat Dolph Ziggler. So, Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler defeated Sheamus and Rusev in a tag team match. So I just put a question mark by the 2 of them, because I guess I'm half right. I guess. Anyway, so next up, Neville defeated Stardust in another match that they kind of just added because they were there, I suppose. They showed up. Hey, have I got a match? No, actually, you weren't even supposed to be here. Hey, have I got a match? Hey, you weren't even supposed to be. Hey, wait a minute. How about you two wrestle each other? Oh, coincidentally, you're also doing a feud right now. Yes. Interesting happenstance, that. So, I can't really call that because I didn't know what was happening. And in Team Bella, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox defeated PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch in a 6-diva tag match. That also wasn't advertised, so I can't really, interesting enough match, I suppose, as Divas matches go. They're still trying to do the Diva Revolution, so hopefully that pans out, and yeah. But one match that they did actually predict, they actually say was going to be happening, was Kevin Owens defending his Intercontinental Championship against Chris Jericho. So I still want to see if this is going to do anything to Chris Jericho's character in the long run, or if it's just going to be, oh darn, I lost again, or they're not even going to pay attention to it. It's like, oh yeah, Chris Jericho lost, I think, but hey, what about this other shiny thing over here? Look, a quarter. Look, I'm holding a quarter up to this light. It's shiny and distracting you. So, yeah, I did predict it that way. So, again, I'm more interested in seeing what it does to Chris Jericho's character, more so than, what the win would mean to Kevin Owens. But you're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerberology TV. So the last three matches, I did, the last three matches actually were predicted last week. They actually said, oh, these matches are happening for sure. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley defeated the New Day, Big E Langston and Kofi Kingston by disqualification. So they didn't win the titles, but they did win. And I did predict they were going to win. So, yeah, I didn't really specify they were going to take the titles because there's two ways to win. There's two ways you can go with a title match. You can win and win the titles, or you can win by disqualification and not win the titles. And anyway, so I didn't really specify. I usually don't specify, actually, because that's a little bit of a slippery slope there where you can predict one way and it goes the other. So, also, Brock Lesnar defeated the Big Show in a singles match in 4 minutes. So that's another reason, I guess, maybe why it wasn't the main event. It was only 4 minutes. And it's the Big Show. So, you really want the Big Show in your main event. The main event, of course, was John Cena defending his United States Championship in a steel cage against Seth Rollins. So, yeah, I did predict John Cena was going to win. He's supposed to be taking time off, though, soon after the upcoming pay-per-view. He's supposed to be taking some time off for personal reasons, I hear. So, I don't know, because he's not scheduled to be on the European tour, and apparently it's not to marry Nikki Bella because she is on the European tour. So unless she can travel to Europe unless they're going to Europe for their honeymoon, anyway, whatever. Presumably it's not for that reason. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerberology TV. Did they do a song called Jekyll? Probably not. But anyway, this is Fabio Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 93.5 CHMR-FM. So now it's time for TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view results. They did add another match to this one, but otherwise it was more or less all here. So they added Shawn Schultz defeating John Skyler. And the match time was not available according to Wikipedia, so because I guess it was a dark match that no one really they didn't televise or anything. It may theoretically come up on Explosion or something in the next couple of weeks, maybe. Who knows? So the first match saw Tigre Uno defeating Manic, DJZ, and Andrew Everett in an Ultimate X match to defend his title. Only 10 minutes, but it was a rather dynamic 10 minutes. And surprising, I did predict that one, by the way. I did predict Tigre Uno would defend. And the number one contendership gauntlet match, the Bound for Gold gauntlet match, a 12-man match, which, how many were in it before? 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10. Anyway, because there's 12 there now. Tyrus, Abyss, Aiden O'Shea, Al Snow, Chris Melendez, D'Angelo De Niro, Eli Drake, Jesse Goddard, Mahabali, Shira, I don't know, Mr. Anderson, Robbie E., and Tommy Dreamer. Now, I predicted that Anderson would win it because I had to predict someone was going to win it. So, apparently I was wrong, because it turns out that Tyrus ended up winning the number one contendership match. So, interesting. Never really saw his character going that way, but maybe TNA sees more in it than I do. I don't know. Not to say, of course, that, he's going to win the title, because there's any number of people who have been booked as the number one contender and never won the title. So, need a challenger. So, I'm sure Mankind wasn't really supposed to win the WWF title, but they put him against the champion anyway, because he was a good performer, and he put out good matches. And he wasn't a contender for the WCW title either. Then he put Cactus Jack up against Sting. So let's see how that works out then, shall we? You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbernology TV. The Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, defeated Brian Myers and Trevor Lee, the team of friggin' who? As I like to call them, to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships. Bobby Roode defended his title against Bobby Lashley, the TNA King of the Mountain Championship. I still don't really understand the point of that belt, but what do I know? And Gail Kim defended her TNA Knockouts Championship against Awesome Kong, as I predicted she would. Actually, did I predict all those properly? Bobby Roode, yes. Yes, so I called the three of those matches properly. As much as it really matters, I suppose. But it's still fun to say, let's see if it goes this way. So. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbernology TV. This is Fabo Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust on 3.5 CHMR-FM. I'm doing actually really good on time. I'm actually just about done with the TNA Bound For Glory results. So I'm going to read the last two matches just individually and judge them and whatnot. And yeah. So, Kurt Angle defeating Eric Young. Now, considering I heard last week or week before that Kurt Angle is actually contemplating retiring from wrestling and leaving TNA and most likely not going back to WWE, but again, never say never. I figured he'd most likely have no problem with putting Eric Young over in this match and letting him win, but well. Not to say he didn't put Eric Young over in this match, but it's just no disqualification match, so it was quite smacktastic, as I like referring to it. And boy, you really got to see the animal inside Kurt Angle in this match. You are listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbernology TV. So one last match for TNA Bound For Glory saw Matt Hardy defeating Ethan Carter III and Drew Galloway in a three-way match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship with Jeff Hardy as the special guest referee. Now, it would have been predictable, to say Jeff Hardy's going to interfere on the behalf of Matt Hardy. Well, and now Ethan Carter has filed an injunction to get to get his title back, I guess. He's not even going to go for the rematch. He's just going to get his title handed back to him, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and whether or not Ethan Carter is going to be getting that title back. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbernology TV. This is Fabo Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust. Oh, not 3.5 CHMR-FM. So, got one show left. Well, there's 7 matches, but 3 of the matches are closely connected, so I'll just do the 3 of those matches, and then from there, I may even have time to stretch the rest of them out and just talk one match at a time. We'll see. The Dusty Rhodes Classic, Tag Team Classic, tournament semifinals saw Finn Balor and Samoa Joe defeating the Mechanics, Scott Dawson and Dash Waller. And by the way, I'm calling Finn Balor and Samoa Joe big in Japan because they're big in Japan. And, well, they're big in a lot of places, but they're especially big in Japan because people in Japan are usually a little bit smaller than other people. But anyway. So most, North Americans are big in Japan. Radio shrug. So, yeah, I predicted that. But for the next one, which saw Unwilling and Gable, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, versus Friendship, Baron Corbin and Rhino, I suspected that Unwilling and Gable were going to come out on top of that one, and I actually predicted them to win the thing overall because NXT seemed to be wanting to do something with them, but anyway, I guess I was mistaken. Because Baron Corbin and Rhino ended up winning that match, and Finn Balor and Samoa Joe ended up winning the entire thing. You were listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. So, Bull Dempsey defeated Sawyer Fulton in a dark match that no one saw, so I'm going to call bullshit on that one. Asuka defeated Dana Brooke by submission, which I predicted that Asuka would win that one. Not by submission necessarily, but, You were listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Apollo Crews defeated Tyler Breeze, which I called as well, but I wanted to play Tyler Breeze's song last week, so I played the song. The main event is the only thing left now. So Bayley defeated Sasha Banks 3-2 in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the NXT Women's Championship. I still don't know why they didn't call it Iron Woman's match, but I don't know. Why do I know? Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni. That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.
This is 93.5 CHMR-FM.